Hey everyone, welcome back to English Experts. It's Jessica here, and I'm really happy to have you back. Today I've got 3 funny and true-to-life stories to help you learn English while having fun. Each story comes with emotions, natural expressions, and everyday vocabulary you can actually use in conversation. All right, let's get started. Podcast title, When My Cat Became My Alarm Clock. Purpose, to entertain and help listeners learn natural English expressions. Today I want to tell you about the time my cat, Mr. Whiskers, decided I was no longer allowed to sleep in, and how that turned into the weirdest, funniest alarm clock experience ever. So, picture this. It was a Saturday morning around 8 a.m. I had stayed up late the night before binge-watching a new series. I finally went to bed at like 2 a.m., telling myself, just one more episode, then sleep. Classic mistake. I was totally exhausted, and I set my alarm for 10 a.m., thinking I'd get a good sleep because, Saturday. But Mr. Whiskers had other plans. At 7:45 a.m. sharp, his paws hit my bedside table and he started knocking things off. First a glass of water, then my phone. Then, get this, my favorite mug with the cat face on it. Crash! So I wake up, startled, my ears buzzing. I sit up, half asleep. Mr. Whiskers is sitting there, looking at me with this expression like, about time. I rub my eyes, my heart is racing. I try to push him off, but nope. Instead, he races across the bed, claws gently digging in, then leaps onto my chest, full weight. He meows like it's the most important speech ever. Meow, meow, meow. I'm panicking a little, thinking, why is he doing this? Did I forget to feed him last night? Is something wrong? But no. I remember I fed him just before bed. I check his water bowl, full. Litter box, clean. So I realize he's just bored. And apparently, I'm the entertainment. I try to ignore him and hide under the blanket, but Mr. Whiskers doesn't stop. He starts walking in circles beside me, making his feed me sounds. Then he gently pats the blanket with his paw as if saying, hey, it's breakfast time. At that point, I can't pretend to sleep anymore. I sit up, turn on the light, and say, half laughing, all right, you win, Mr. Whiskers. I'm awake. He immediately sits down proudly, looking at me like he just saved the world. So I get out of bed, fill his food bowl, and he finally relaxes, completely happy, as if nothing happened. Meanwhile, I'm there with sleepy eyes thinking, well, I guess that's my morning routine now. Moral? Who needs an alarm clock when you have a cat that runs on its own schedule? For you all listening, try to pick up some of these expressions. Classic mistake, startled, give up, adrenaline kicked in, declare victory. These are phrases people really use in daily English. Try using them when you tell your own stories. I hope it made you smile, maybe laugh out loud a little, and gave you something useful to add to your English. Story 2. The Coffee Shop Confusion. Okay, story number 2. The Coffee Shop Confusion. One morning, I went to my favorite coffee shop before work. It was super crowded, but I found one tiny table and sat down with my laptop. Then, this guy walked up, smiled, and said, "Hey, I'm glad you made it." I thought maybe he recognized me from somewhere, so I smiled and said, "Yeah, me too." He started talking about a project, clients, and deadlines, and I realized he thought I was someone else. But instead of correcting him right away, I just went along with it. I said things like, "Oh, totally," and "Yes, I agree." After 10 minutes, the real woman he was supposed to meet walked in. He looked at both of us like he'd seen a ghost and said, "Wait, who are you?" I said, I think I'm just in the wrong meeting," and ran out with my coffee. Now, every time I go back to that cafe, he's there, and we just wave awkwardly. Moral: Always make sure you're meeting the right person before you start talking about business. Wink. Story 3. The Wrong Bus Adventure. Okay, our last story is The Wrong Bus Adventure. A few months ago, I was traveling to a new city. It was early morning, and I wanted to explore downtown. I found a bus with the right number, so I jumped on it confidently. 10 minutes later, I noticed the scenery changing. Fewer buildings, more trees. Then 20 minutes later, cows. I realized something was wrong. I asked the driver, "Excuse me, does this bus go to downtown?" He looked at me and said, "Downtown? Oh no, this bus goes to the countryside." At first, I panicked a little. But he was really nice and said, "You can stay on the bus. I'll take you back." So I just enjoyed the ride. I saw farms, little markets, and friendly people waving as we passed.
When we got back to the city, the driver said, "Now you've seen the real part of our town."
And honestly, it was one of the best mistakes I've ever made. Lesson: sometimes getting lost is the best way to discover something new. So, those were my 3 funny stories for today's episode of English Experts. I hope you had fun and picked up some new natural expressions along the way. Remember, laughing and storytelling are amazing ways to learn English. If you like this episode, please subscribe, like, and share it with your friends. Vocabulary and expressions. All right, let's quickly go over some useful vocabulary and expressions from today's episode. House sit. To take care of someone's house while they're away. Raccoon. A small wild animal that loves food and trash. Go along with it. Pretend to agree or act like something is true. Awkwardly. In a way that feels strange or uncomfortable. Get lost. To not know where you are. Discover. To find or learn something new. Make sure to confirm that something is correct or ready. Try using these in your next English conversation. This is Jessica, and you've been listening to English Experts. Thanks for listening, and see you soon.